Welcome back to the Gold IRA Blueprint Podcast, your guide to navigating the world of gold IRAs. Today, we're diving deep into the U.S. Gold Bureau, a company that's been making a name for itself in the precious metal space. If you're thinking about adding gold to your retirement portfolio, you'll definitely want to hear this.
Absolutely. And what's caught my eye about them is their commitment to serving a wide range of investors, whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting to dip your toes into precious metals.
And speaking of getting started, before we go any further, I just want to remind you that we have a free checklist available at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive. It's specifically designed to help you choose the right gold IRA company for your needs. Now let's get into the U.S. Gold Bureau itself. What exactly is it about this company that sets them apart?
Well, the U.S. Gold Bureau is a Texas-based precious metals dealer that specializes in gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They seem to cover the whole gamut of precious metals, which is impressive.
So not just your run-of-the-mill coin shop.
Definitely not. They go beyond the typical offerings, providing a diverse range of products that can fit different investment strategies.
Okay, this is where it gets interesting for me. The products themselves. They offer everything from the classic American Gold Eagles and Canadian Maple Leafs to platinum and palladium coins. I'll admit, palladium coins weren't really on my radar until I started prepping for this episode. What's the story with those guys?
Palladium is becoming increasingly popular with investors looking to diversify, and for good reason. It's a rare metal with unique applications in industries like automotive manufacturing. Take the Canadian Palladium Maple Leaf coin, for example. Its limited supply and growing demand make it a sought-after asset with the potential to appreciate in value.
So they're not just pretty to look at. They could actually be a smart investment. I'm starting to see the appeal.
Exactly. But they offer more than just palladium. The U.S. Gold Bureau has a variety of gold and silver coins, too. American Silver Eagle bullion coins are a popular choice, known for their quality, purity, and global recognition.
I bet they also have some of those collectible coins that series collectors go after.
They absolutely do. They carry a wide selection of numismatic pieces, coins valued for their rarity, historical significance, or unique designs. Owning one is like holding a piece of history, and they make fantastic conversation starters.
I love that. Okay, so we've got a good handle on the different types of metals they offer. But how do IRAs fit into the picture? I always thought IRAs were just for stocks and bonds.
That's a common misunderstanding. You can actually include precious metals in your retirement portfolio through a self-directed IRA. That's where the U.S. Gold Bureau steps in to help.
The self-directed IRA. Could you unpack that a bit more? I think some of our listeners might not be familiar with that term.
Of course. It essentially gives you more control over your retirement investments. With a self-directed IRA, you can invest in a broader range of assets, including precious metals, which you typically can't do with a traditional IRA.
So if I'm worried about inflation eating away at my retirement savings, I could potentially add some gold or silver to my IRA through the U.S. Gold Bureau to try and protect my wealth.
That's the idea. Historically, gold has been seen as a hedge against inflation. When the value of the dollar drops, the price of gold often goes up. It's a way to diversify your portfolio and potentially mitigate some of the risks associated with traditional investments like stocks and bonds.
But wouldn't adding precious metals to my IRA come with a whole new set of regulations and rules? It seems like it would be easy to mess something up with the IRS.
That's where the U.S. Gold Bureau's expertise comes in handy. They provide guidance on IRS regulations and compliance, making sure you're doing everything by the book. This is especially important when it comes to precious metals IRAs, as the rules can be quite specific.
All right, that's definitely reassuring to hear. I'm sensing a theme here. A lot of options, and they help you navigate it all. But what are some of the other benefits of investing with the U.S. Gold Bureau beyond just the product variety?
Well, one of the key benefits they highlight is wealth protection. As we discussed, gold can act as a hedge against market volatility and inflation.
Just a reminder, if you're just joining us, we're discussing the U.S. Gold Bureau and why it might be a good option for your gold IRA. And if you head over to goldirablueprint.com/exclusive, we have a free checklist there that can help you choose the right company, whether it's the U.S. Gold Bureau or another provider.
By adding gold to your portfolio, you're essentially diversifying your risk and potentially protecting your purchasing power over the long term.
That makes sense. It sounds like the U.S. Gold Bureau is all about transparency and security, too. Wouldn't you say that peace of mind is a big factor when you're planning for retirement?
Absolutely. The U.S. Gold Bureau really emphasizes secure purchasing options and providing clear guidance. They want their clients to feel informed and confident throughout the entire investment process.
That's really important when you're dealing with something as valuable as precious metals. You don't want any hidden fees or surprises popping up down the line. What specific steps do they take to ensure that transparency?
They offer secure payment options like bank wire transfers, provide very clear pricing information, and give you detailed information about storage options. All of that contributes to a sense of trust and transparency.
But wouldn't palladium be affected by the shift towards electric vehicles? I know it's used in catalytic converters, so wouldn't that be a concern for investors?
That's a valid point and something to consider. While the shift to electric vehicles could impact palladium demand in the long run, it's important to remember that palladium has other industrial uses as well. It's also a key component in electronics, dentistry, and even some medical applications. So while the automotive industry is a significant consumer, it's not the only one.
Okay, that makes me feel a bit better. So it sounds like diversifying within precious metals is also important. It's not just about gold, but also considering other metals like silver, platinum, and palladium.
Exactly. And that's something the U.S. Gold Bureau can help you with. They have experts on staff who can guide you on which metals might be the best fit for your overall portfolio and investment goals.
Speaking of returns, it's worth noting that gold and other precious metals have the potential to increase in value, particularly during times of economic uncertainty. I know past performance isn't a guarantee of future results, but historically, how has gold performed as an investment?
Gold has generally performed well over the long term. It's considered a safe haven asset, meaning that investors tend to flock to it when things get a bit shaky, economic downturns, political turmoil, that sort of thing. This increased demand can drive up the price of gold.
So it's not just about protecting your wealth from inflation, but also about the potential for growth.
Precisely. Gold can act as both a shield and a cord in your portfolio.
I like that analogy. Okay, so far the U.S. Gold Bureau seems like a pretty solid option, but let's address the elephant in the room. Is the U.S. Gold Bureau legit? There are a lot of scams out there, especially when it comes to gold. How can we be sure they're the real deal?
That's a valid concern, and it's always wise to be cautious. But in the case of the U.S. Gold Bureau, there's quite a bit of evidence pointing to their legitimacy. For starters, they have an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. That's a pretty strong indicator of their commitment to ethical business practices.
That's good, but BBB ratings aren't foolproof. I'm curious, have there been any regulatory actions against them? What about customer complaints? Any patterns there?
That's a great question and one I looked into. It appears they've had a very clean track record with regulators. And while every company has a few unhappy customers, I didn't find any red flags or patterns in the complaints I reviewed. Most issues seem to be minor and resolved quickly by their customer service team.
And what about customer reviews? What are people saying about their experience with the U.S. Gold Bureau?
They have a lot of positive reviews on platforms like Trustpilot and Consumer Affairs. Customers praise their knowledgeable staff, transparent pricing, and secure purchasing process. The overall sentiment is quite positive.
But I'm sure there are some negative reviews too, right?
Yep.
No company is perfect. What are some of the concerns people have raised?
That's true. There are some concerns mentioned in reviews, primarily around shipping delays and occasional communication issues. It's important to keep in mind that no company is immune to occasional hiccups, especially in a complex industry like precious metals.
Right. It sounds like they're generally well regarded, but like any company, they're not without their flaws.
Yeah.
And speaking of potential hiccups, what about security? How do I know my investment is safe with them?
Security is crucial, and the U.S. Gold Bureau seems to take it very seriously. They use secure payment protocols like bank wire transfers and credit cards to minimize the risk of fraud. And they provide clear information about their storage options so you know exactly where your precious metals are being held and how they're being protected. They partner with reputable, secure storage facilities that meet industry standards.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm always wary of companies that are vague about their security measures, so it's good to hear that they're upfront about it. And you mentioned earlier that they can help with setting up a self-directed IRA, right? What does that process look like?
Absolutely. They can guide you through the entire process of setting up and managing a precious metals IRA, ensuring you comply with all IRS regulations. They'll help you choose the right custodian for your account, walk you through the paperwork, and make sure everything is set up correctly.
You know, for anyone feeling overwhelmed by the idea of setting up a precious metals IRA, it sounds like the U.S. Gold Bureau could be a really valuable resource. They seem to handle a lot of the complexity for you. And just a reminder, if you're looking for more guidance on choosing the right gold IRA company, we have that free checklist available at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive.
That checklist can definitely help you make a more informed decision, especially when comparing different providers.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about what the U.S. Gold Bureau is, the products they offer, the potential benefits of investing with them, their legitimacy, and their commitment to security. Is there anything else we need to know before we wrap up?
Well, one thing to remember is that investing in precious metals is just one piece of the retirement puzzle. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket.
Right, it's all about diversification.
Exactly. You need to consider your overall financial goals, risk tolerance, and investment timeline.
That's where a financial advisor can come in handy. They can help you create a comprehensive retirement plan that's tailored to your individual needs.
Absolutely. They can help you determine if and how precious metals fit into your overall investment strategy.
I know some people are hesitant to talk to a financial advisor, but they can really be invaluable, especially when you're dealing with something as important as your retirement. They can help you make sense of all the options out there and make sure you're on the right track.
I completely agree. It's always a good idea to get professional advice, especially if you're unsure about something.
Okay, I think that's a great point to transition to our final thoughts. What does this all mean for someone considering investing with the U.S. Gold Bureau? What are the key takeaways we want our listeners to walk away with? Well, based on what we've discussed, it seems like the U.S. Gold Bureau is a reputable and reliable option for investing in precious metals.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
They offer a wide range of products, they prioritize transparency and security, and they have a generally positive track record when it comes to customer satisfaction.
Definitely seems that way.
But as with any investment, you always have to do your own due diligence right. Weigh the pros and cons, and make sure it aligns with your individual financial goals.
Absolutely. You know your retirement is unique to you, and you need to be comfortable with the choices you make. Don't just take our word for it.
Exactly. That's why we encourage you to do your own research and talk to a financial advisor if you need guidance.
Yeah, for sure. A financial advisor can help you see the big picture and make sure precious metals, or any other investment for that matter, fit into your overall strategy.
And speaking of resources, don't forget about that free checklist I mentioned earlier. It's available at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive. It's packed with helpful tips and questions to ask when you're choosing a gold IRA company.
Yeah, that checklist can be a game changer. It helps you cut through the noise and focus on the factors that matter most when making this important decision.
Well, I think we've covered just about everything there is to know about the U.S. Gold Bureau. It's been a fascinating deep dive.
He really has.
It highlights the importance of diversification and considering different asset classes for your retirement portfolio.
For sure.
Absolutely. You know, it's really got me thinking. With so many investment options out there, the key is finding the right fit for your individual retirement goals. No two investors are the same. And what works for one person might not work for another. It's a lot to consider.
It is. But thankfully, resources like this podcast and your free checklist can help point you in the right direction.
And on that note, I think we'll wrap things up for today. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the U.S. Gold Bureau.
It's been great being here.
And one last reminder, don't forget to check out our free checklist at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive to help you navigate the world of gold IRAs and make informed decisions about your retirement savings. Knowledge is power. And with the right information, you can build a retirement plan that gives you confidence and peace of mind. Thanks for